Alright, so the first thing, ladies and gentlemen, this worksheet is 7-1 review and 7-2. Because there's a lot of information in 7-2, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this with you. Not all of it, but the concepts so that we can practice them. 7-2 is multiplying radicals. Alright, so we're talking about multiplying radicals. So, when we start with multiplying radicals, you multiply your 6 times your 3 gives me what? 18. And then the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is 2. If you don't know that, you can still do the square root of 4, which then becomes a 2. So you have 18 times 2, which is 36.
That's the answer?
That's your answer.
That's all we're doing today.
No, that's not all you're doing today. All right, so when you, if it's perfect, but they're not all going to be perfect. So a lot of them are going to be with your square roots left. So, when you're multiplying here, we have square root of 2 times square root of 2. So you have, yep. All right, if you, just so I'll be a forewarning, because there's like 2 people right now that are really talking while I'm talking. If you talk while I'm talking, I'm just going to move you, and you're going to be, that's your permanent seat, just so you know. All right, so because you have square root of 2 times square root of 2, that'll be square root of 4, which gives me the 2. Yep. All right, when you're looking at this, you have the square root of 3, square root of 2, and then square root of 16. Look to see if there's any of them being a perfect square root first. Are any of those perfects? 16 is. So I would do that first so you won't have a big number. So that means that's a 4, square root of 2, and square root of 3 I'm bringing down. So then you can go and multiply your stuff together. So 4 times the square root of 3 times square root of 2. These you multiply together, and there's like a 1 in front of it, so you have 4 square roots of 6. Alright, I am going to leave you with 2 to try later, and we'll go to the next kind of group. Now, on these ones, sometimes, do you guys have trouble yet breaking them up? Because is 32 a perfect? No. Nope. Is 64 though? When we multiply them together, that's going to give us perfect. So, yep. So you might have to break them down, but I'm going to let you guys do those 2 then. All right. 16. When you have the square root of a fraction times the square root of fraction, the easiest way, I feel, the easiest way is to combine them first. So you have 7 and 10 on the top, and you have 10 and 7 on the bottom. So if you put them together, what's going to happen is you can reduce before you multiply. Now this one's going to be easy because you know it's 70 over 70, which you all know is 1. However, it's going to help you with the ones below it if you do this process. 7 goes into 7 one time, so there's ones. And then our 10s do the same thing. So 10 goes into 10 once, 10 goes into that. So we have 1 times 1 gives me a 1 over 1. We're still under the square root, but what is square root of 1? 1. All right, take a second and you guys try to do 17, and then I'm going to do 17, but you try to do 17. All right, so the first thing we want to do, Lincoln, is I would go 5 and 3 and 3 and 20 all under my square root. Your 3's cancel out. 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 3 once. So those turn into 1s because you're reducing. 5 and 20 also reduces. 5 goes into 5 once. 5 goes into 20 4 times. So 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 4 is 4. But it's still under my square root sign. I haven't done anything with my square root. I must use my square root now. You can, if you need to, you can rewrite it so you can see it. But you take the square root of the top and you take the square root of the bottom. What's the square root of 1? 1. What is the square root of 4? 2. So the answer is 1 over 2. Not 17. Try 18, guys. What? Oh, I'm trying to learn how to draw a monkey. Yep. I drew this one. I had another student draw the freehand.
Oh, the one on paper.
All right, Josh, walk me through this so that I can make sure you guys know how to do this. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. The other Josh. Oh, that's fine. You can go on. Nope, you're fine. So you. Okay, so you can actually look at it like this too. So you went 2 into there 12 times.
Yeah, and then 11 goes into 33 3 times.
Uh-huh.
But 12 over 3.
So you have 12 times 3 on the top, and on the bottom you have 1. Because these are both on the top, right? I know, I'm going to. So, oh, okay, but do you see how it's on the top?
Yeah, I put 12 over 3.
Right.
With the little radical thing.
Yep. All right, so then we have this. Before I would multiply, I would probably see if there's anything I could reduce, but we can multiply, but then we're going to still be pulling out. So we have our 12 times 3.
36.
Yeah, it's 36. Oh. Which is going to be 6. What is 36 divided by 1? Mm-hmm. So anytime there's a 1 on the bottom, you just want to drop it. Yep. All right. Questions on that kind? Yes.
I have a question
On 10? Uh-huh.
See the third power?
Yep.
Nothing that.
So 16,
On the worksheet.
yep. So the third power, so is 8. 8 goes into 16.
Oh yeah.
So what you're going to do on 10, ladies and gentlemen, when you look at this tells you it's the third. So when you look at the third root, 16 is not there. So the next step is to find out what goes into 16. 8 times what gives me 16? 2. So I'm going to go 8 times 2, x cubed, y to the 7th. Let's finish this one out first, unless there's a question on that. So, on this part?
Yeah, well, it's like, not on that part, but if it's like x cubed and y to the 7th and there's no perfect square that goes into it, is it just stay in the radical?
Yes, like if it was a 2. Yeah. So, cube root of 8 is 2. But we're going to keep this underneath, so we have to remember that we're going to take him out. Remember that this is how many you have to take out. We have x cubed, so how many groups can come out? 1. How many stay underneath? How many x's are going to be underneath the radical? None, right? What about this? We have y to the 7. How many groups can come out? 2. 7 divided by 3 is 2. How many left over? 1. So underneath, and just so you guys know, this 3 with the radical will always stay. So you want to make sure you keep that 3. And we need our 2 under there and our 1y.
That's your answer?
That's our answer. Yep. This 3 tells us it's the cube root. So that has to stay with your sign because it's a cube root sign. It's not a square sign, it's a cube root. Awesome.
Could I get 18? I'll get straight.
What's the square root of 36? Is 6.
So how did you get the square root of 140?
Square root.
I typed in my calculator, I get like 0.1 repeated.
Okay, did you just wait? Which number? 18 still?
Well, when you look at 17, that
17. Okay.
equal the square root of 140.
Okay. Okay. So go. Wait. Time out. Come back to this part. 3 and 3. There's top and
I
bottom.
get that part. I'm just the part I'm confused on how you get your answer.
The 1/4.
Square root of 1/4.
Did you get how I got here?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what's the square root of 1? You have to take the square root of the top and the square root of the bottom. So what's the square root of?
Do it separately.
Yes. So the square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 4 is 2.
Oh, so then you, okay.
Okay. Next week, Tuesday. Yes.
So on like 2 and 3, you have to only think about
On 2? Kelsey, what number's right here?
there is no number right there.
No. When there's a square root, there's a number here. A 2. So it says, because it's the reason why it's a square root, it's because it's a square. They don't put that 2 there. It's just understood.
Okay, so why don't you put a 1 there?
There's never going to be a 1 there. 1s are never there. It goes 2, 3, 4. There's never a 1 there. Yep. So this is saying that you have to take 2 out at a time. There's 3 in there. If there's 3 people in the room and you have 2 have to leave at a time, how many groups can go? 1. How many are left in the room? 1. So this is like your room. Think about it being your room. 1 stays in, 1 left. And that's it. Now, I'm not going to worry about it. However, this should be in absolute values because evens have to go in absolute values. If you get the absolute value thing, great. If you don't, I'm not going to worry about that too much. All right?
Does it still pay for homework?
Yes.
Then like for number 1, like finally be like X, Y,
So it would be x, because there's a 2 here, so we can put out x. Then there's y squared, and then z to the 5th. Is this even or odd? Even. So we just have to do the absolute value. Because you're dividing, this is a 2 and you're dividing it. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5.
so that's a shortcut.
Yeah. And then the remainders always stay under the radical. Yes. Just wait. Oh, no, 10 divided by 2. If you had 10 people in here and 2 people had to leave at a time, how many groups could leave? Just a second. How many groups? 5, right? Do you see that why? 10 people are in the room, and 2 have to leave at a time. How many groups would you have? 5. You have to think about them as being a group. This tells you how many you have to group together. Like the thing out here tells me how many I have to group together to be able to leave. Why is the square root of 25 5? Because it's 5 times 5. It's one group of 5. Yes.
How would you do something like 24?
I know we haven't got there yet. Yep, that's new stuff. All right. Any other questions though before we move on? Do you understand all the way up to where we're at right now? Okay. On 24, the only difference now on 24 is you have to remember your rules. How do I change an improper fraction to a mixed number? So I go 3 times 4, which is 12, plus 3 gives you 15. So you have 15 over 4. So in the square root sign. Over here we have 2 times 3, which is 6, plus 2 gives me 8 over 3. Now, before you multiply them, what do I suggest you do? Reduce. Always reduce first. It'll save you guys so much work. So, I know that 4 goes into 8. So 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 8 twice. 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 15 5 times. On the top, I have 5 times 2, which is 10. Bottom is 1, so I don't have to worry about it. So I have square root of 10. Last thing you have to check is there a perfect inside of this? No, because 4 doesn't go into 10 and 9 doesn't go into 10. Our final answer is this. I want you guys to try 25. All right, so what you have to do, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, eyes and ears, you can work by yourself or listen to me. That's your choice right there. So we have 1 times 6 gives me 6, plus 1 is 7. So we have 7/6. And then on this one, we have 4 times 3, which is 12, 13, 14. So we have 14 thirds. All under my radical. I personally put it all under one radical, so it's just, I can see it all. Now, you guys say, well, 6 doesn't go into 14, this doesn't go, but 6 and 14 are both even. So, 2 goes into 6 3 times. 7 goes into 14, or 2 goes into 14 7 times. I put in a 2, I'm reducing by 2. Think of it being a fraction as 14/6. 7 times 7 gives me 49. 3 times 3 gives me 9. All under the square root. Square root of 49 is 7. Square root of 9 is 3.
You had your answer a long time ago.
Well, because there's 2 of them. So it's a group. So yeah, you could, if you looked at it as a group, that this is one group, that's another group, you could actually, if I would have seen that at first and you understand that, yes. Because remember, you need 2 groups, just like your variables. If it's the same thing twice, that's going to be my answer. Yep.
How do you get 49? Or I mean 7?
Um,
From the 49.
oh, square, you could put it in the mixed if you wanted to, but I'm not going to care. I don't care. Square root of 49, because this is, you have to do the top and bottom separate. So the square root of 49 is 7.
No, I get it now.
Oh, okay. Yep. Alright. Alright. Last concept, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to do a harder one, just so. Yes, I can do any of them that you want me to. Yep. Let's do a harder concept. Let's do the backside one. All right. What you are doing is you are multiplying. You are multiplying both of them through. If you want to, you can always make this into you can do radicals first if you want to, but we can leave it just in case you don't see what can come out. So 2 times 1 gives me a 2. Square root of 3 times the square root of 27, you multiply the numbers underneath. So we have 27 times 3 gives me 81. Oh, that's great. I like that one. That's a perfect. And then we have 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Now, this is, if there's nothing in front of it, it's always a 1.
I thought you said nothing was in front of it.
No. Above it. Above it. This is a square root. There's a 2 there. But what's in front of an X?
1.
A 1. So this times this, if there's no number in front of it, it's a 1. Yeah. So 2 times, just what?
What happened to the 3 on the outside?
This?
Yeah.
3 times 27.
What about the 3 on the inside?
This one, we haven't got there yet because people stopped me.
Oh.
So 2 times my 1, it gives me 2. Square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 9, which is going to be 3. All right. I'm going to stop there. Make sure you guys see those numbers.
Math is so ridiculous.
So 81 is perfect, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is it?
9.
9. So we have 2 times 9 minus 2 times 3. Order of operations, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you know you have to do your multiplications before you can subtract it. So we have 18 minus 6.
12.
At the enter?
Yep.
Wow, okay.
All right.
What if they weren't?
Then you would leave it like some of your answer might look like this. The question was, what happens if they weren't perfect? It would stay like that. Actually, I should do this one since these aren't perfect, because that would be a great way. 26. Square root of 2 times the square root of 2.
4.
Square root of 4. Minus, we take the square root of 2 times negative 1. So it's square root of 2. Square root of 4 is 2 minus the square root of 2. If they don't look alike, you can't combine them. If they don't look alike, you cannot combine them. All right? So you are done right there.
So like what is number 27? Square root of 2.
So we got, let me do it out because I don't have an answer key. So we have the square root of 6 times 5. Tell me what you did.
I don't understand, like, what would you do with that? Like, would you just put the 5 in front of the radical?
5 square roots of 6. Yep.
Wait, then why could you multiply on 26 the square root of 2 and negative 1?
You
Oh,
did.
it is in front of it usually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's on, you could have a 1 there if you wanted.
Okay. I thought you just put it all in.
No. Gotcha. Square,
27 by chance?
yep, I'm doing it right now. So square root of 6 times 5 is 5 square roots of 6. Because there's, ladies and gentlemen, so we have 5 square roots of 6. Do you see why that is? Yep. Okay. Then you take the, right, well, because there's a 1 in front, so 5 times 1 is 5. This, so then if you take the square root of 6 times the square root of 6 is, when you radicals you multiply underneath. So square root of 6 times square root of 6 is square root of 36. Just a second. I'm not done if that's what you're asking me. Austin, go ahead though. Yeah. So is there a perfect in 6? No. This side is done. Is there a perfect here? Yes. What is this? 6. 5 square roots of 6 minus 6 is my final answer. It's not, yeah, it's not that hard. It's just a lot of information. There's just a lot of information.
Like there's 20 million different problems. Like it's just not, there's only 2 things.
Right.
You can develop.
Right. There's a lot of different. Yep. Yep. Did someone ask me to do 23? All right, 23. The first thing whenever I encounter this, the first thing I always do is I look to see, is there a perfect in 48? So you're looking, does 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, any of those numbers go into 48? 4 goes into it, right? But then we're going to get a 12, so that means 16 probably does, right? So, do you see what I did? I went 4, I knew 4 went into it and I got 12. Does 4 go into 12? Yeah, so that means 16 must go into 48 because you want the biggest number. So I'm going to go 48 divided by 16. I'm trying to show you my thought process. So I'm going to pull it over here. So we have 2 square roots of 3 on the top. On the bottom, I'm going to rewrite 48 into 16 times 3. I'm going to stop there and see if anyone has a question on why I wrote it into 16 and 3.
No, that's what you did, 48.
Okay. All right. Then you're going to take the square root. I'm going to bring over this. I'm not going to do anything to the top. I'm leaving it alone for right now. Square root of 16 is 4. Square roots of 3. So the 3's cancel out. 2, you can reduce it. 2 fourths is 1/2. Now, I know the question was asked to me earlier. Well, why can't we just throw this into our calculators? 2 reasons. I'll tell you the first, one thing I want you, if you want to check your work when you do a quiz, I would definitely check my work to see I got the right answer. The only reason why you have to show your work and do it out is because it shows that you know what the calculator is doing. So you just, that's just a rule that we have to teach you. This is something you have to learn. So just so you know, you can check with your work on the calculator, but you must be able to show your work. Yes?
Are you gonna check the homework?
Do I have time? Yeah, I still should have time. All right. Just remember when you're working on these, like 21, you can't have the square root on the bottom, so you're going to multiply top and bottom by square root of 5. Ladies and gentlemen, take out your 22, your homework that says 22 on it. So it says 122. That's the one I'm coming around checking in. It's the one that was due yesterday.
Wait, please put that video on.
This one?